Hey y'all, hey, welcome to a very, very special edition of Mix It Up, holiday style. We got family here, and the amazing guests, Chef Omar Tate and Chef Cybille. Cybille, what's your last name?
St. Aude Tate.
Say
St. Aude hyphen Tate.
Tate. You're Haitian, yeah?
Yeah, yep.
I'm Haitian now too.
Welcome. Thank you guys for doing this. I'm so excited.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
We're happy.
And you guys, I think a lot of people have seen June's face, but this is June. This is also Chef June Berry.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hey.
So before we hit record, we were trying to figure out when was the last time we saw each other.
Yeah, more than a year ago.
Yeah.
More than a year ago, right? Right around Juneteenth. So
yeah, that's right.
So from celebration to celebration.
Totally. Yeah.
Nice little full circle.
It was like a Juneteenth / Pride. It was a Pride party too, right? Juneteenth / Pride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was really dope.
At the old Henry, R.I.P. Henry restaurant with a cute little speakeasy. I know, cute little speakeasy. That was such a moment. It was just like over too fast. We were so excited when we discovered that place.
It was such a special time, you know. It had a couple of different vibes going on, but each one felt like a party. So whether you were eating or at the bar downstairs, it just really felt like you were at a party.
Yeah, definitely vibes. I went for brunch once. This is way before we even.
Yeah. She didn't even know me.
Yeah. I'm just like, I like that guy, but I don't know. These wings are good or whatever. And it was just like it wasn't busy, but it just the music and everybody that was there, the like 3 tables that were there were really like having a great time and like enjoying ourselves and making it a party. It was cool.
It just felt like really warm every time we walked in and just very like family. Like it was cute. Like I would just see like multi-generational like groups of just like Black people living their lives, which you don't see, especially in that neighborhood.
No, right. Koreatown.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely not.
Exactly.
Yeah, the first time I went there for brunch too, and Sam, she, she's also with child, actually out now with child, but she'd been wanting to come to Henry for a while, and I didn't put the connection together until a friend said, come me to this new, spot. They're doing Pan-African, check them out. And I had no idea of this space, and we had no idea that you were there too, because you guys met in another space. Yeah, we met at a barbecue. Karen Jenkins, who runs Jenkins Johnson Gallery in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And I was DJing, and you were hooking it up with the amazing food. And we were like, who was making this food?
What was on the menu that day? Because I'm a pescatarian, so I couldn't eat. I ate some of it, but I couldn't eat everything.
It was probably barbecue because it was summer. It was a block party. Oh, it was definitely barbecue.
Yes, it was a block party. Yes.
Yeah, the whole theme was block party, and it was a collection of artists, and it happened in the backyard of the gallery. It's a really beautiful gallery, by the way, where they have this really beautiful backyard.
Derek curated that. Derek Adams.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Derek.
Wow.
Shout out to Derek Adams.
Look at that.
Oh.
Yeah. We love Derek Adams. He's a fave in our household. Yeah.
So yeah, that was 2 years ago?
Yeah.
3 years ago?
Maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah. Because I remember it happened like right on the heels of me coming back from the South. And I'd done a dinner before I left for the South, and when I came back, I had all this barbecue experience. So I was super excited to cook it and share it with everybody. So it was.
Where were you in the South?
I went from New Orleans to Charleston, all by Greyhound, and then back north again, and it took about 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, and through that is how I kind of like discovered myself to be able to start cooking the way that I cook now to do honeysuckle. So Yeah. Yeah, you were like right at the beginning of it. So y'all were test subjects.
Listen, anytime you want us to test anything, let us know.
Well, Omar, how would you describe what you are doing now? Culinary.
What I'm doing now? What I'm doing now, Cybille and I moved back to Philly, and Cybille and I are opening Honeysuckle Provisions, which is going to be a grocery store. Thank you.
All around.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Cheers. We didn't cheers yet.
Oh, we didn't cheers.
Susan doesn't have a cocktail. I'm the one who really drinks in this relationship, so.
Hey, someone's got to do it. Right. It's got to be a responsibility.
Yes. Yes.
I guess.
No. Yeah. So we're doing a grocery store, and we're really expanding its offerings. It's addressing food insecurity in Philadelphia, but we're also like really curating and making a special, diverse assortment that represents the diaspora for this neighborhood. And so it's part like addressing policy and education for the neighborhood, because like a lot of the things that we eat or like used to eat are lost because of like migration and stuff, both from international and within our country. There's the Southern migration. Cybille's parents, Cybille, your first generation immigrant from Haiti, and so there's a lot of bridges to cross.
Yeah. It's just important also that we establish, because we're in West Philadelphia, and someone else can come in and put a market there and gentrify this space. So it's important that that we're coming in and we look like the people that are still in the community, and we have the community in mind and are super intentional about just making sure that we keep it culturally relative. So we're not offering like lemon pepper chicken or jerk chicken with like a little pepper on it and on the shelf. It's like you're getting like
what are you offering? What can I pick up if we ever in West Philadelphia? What can we get?
Yes.
Well, so right now we don't have the building yet. So right now it's nothing. But when we do get the building, and we were just talking about this, I mean, really, we just want to like come from a point of honesty and like realness. And so we were just talking about making kits, like rice kits, or like think about it like Black Blue Apron, right? Where like if you wanted to make okra rice with crab, we give you a kit, we give you all the seasonings, all the stuff that comes with it comes from these hyper specific places and resources that we have in our mental Rolodexes and relationships.
Super portioned out instructions, maybe even a playlist, just really taking it a step further, just kind of complete your dining experience during these kind of new normals of COVID and just in general, people are home more, it's outside from a pandemic. So we want to keep that in mind. We also have goods from our friends like Sam. Sam's doing hot sauce.
We have her hot and saucy.
Hot and saucy.
Sam. Yep. Wait, we gotta tell people who Sam is. They're gonna be like, who is Sam?
Oh yeah.
Sam, Omar, you tell us who Sam is.
Yeah, they corrected me. So I started to say Samantha Davis. She's married now. Samantha Davis.
That's why I say Sam, because I don't want to use their last name.
Right. She was chef de cuisine at the Henry. She was by JJ's side for a number of years. And now she's working independently on her own. I mean, she's always had her own goods and things that she made and served, and she consulted for restaurants and things like that. But now she has a brand called Hot and Saucy that's all her own, where she's making an assortment of hot sauces that we're also selling through Honeysuckle Provisions. So shout out to Sam.
Yeah, man. And I know Sam because she and I worked together at Solomon and Cuff, for the former Solomon and Cuff Caribbean restaurant that was in Harlem. And, she kind of showed me the ropes and took her time because we were the only women in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't hear this story.
Yeah, okay. Sam and I, when Solomon Cuff first opened, they opened maybe 3 or 4 years ago. They've been closed now for a little over a year.
Oh, they're closed. I didn't know.
Yeah, they closed about a year ago, but they were over in that Hudson area off 125th Street. And it's the same owner who owns 67 Orange. And he started this Pan-Caribbean restaurant, the first of its kind. And Sam was there. Sam's Jamaican, shout out. So she shout out. She definitely imparted a lot of flavors, from her own culinary kind of practice, in the menu, shared it with me, shared it with the guest. And, Sam has always been that kind of chef entrepreneur. Like you don't meet too many people like that are in food, but they're thinking more on this business level, because her background is, she started off in a different world, but, segue into culinary. So you don't meet too many people like her.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's a valued perspective, especially for the folks that kind of like started in the business and kind of have lived their careers and lives in the business, kind of get tunnel vision, and it's hard to see things a different way. And so someone coming in with an alternative experience first offers a really great perspective, because they oftentimes will put their mind literally in the mind of the customer. They're not thinking, logistics or operational. They're thinking just literally like, how is the customer experiencing this meal? What are they getting out of it? And that's super important, because that gets lost in translation with numbers and money.
Yeah, and they leave that too to the front of the house, and the back of the house doesn't always have the opportunity to.
Right.
I wouldn't necessarily say to worry about it, but to think about it, because your brain is on production solely.
Yeah.
So different kind of headspace.
Yeah, that's a perspective I never even considered.
Yeah. Just thinking about, I mean, I don't know, I've worked in kitchens with like super like intense bros, back of the house bros, and everything they were like robots. Yeah. And that's effective, to a certain extent.
Omar's like, guilty. Pump that food out. Pump it out.
Yeah, pump it out. And I get that. But then, I don't know. But also, it's like if we come, I mean, my family, and I know your family, it's such the table was the centerpiece. The meal was the centerpiece. And it was like, it's difficult to remove that aspect of our being from our craft, because it's so important.
Yeah.
And it just makes us different than the robots.
That's true.
Because we care. We have to care.
I think I essentially came back to that part, but definitely for a long time I was like really into the technical aspects of becoming a chef, and
you need to be.
The rigidity of it, and like what that means. And I mean, and it worked, and it obviously we all understand culture of kitchens now, so it was really hard and toxic and all that.
Yes, being exposed, just like everything else.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how rigid it was, like until like just through June, and just through the lens of her experience. It's crazy. It's just like, I don't know, I just feel like we put energy into food, so the thought of like all of that toxic energy just being manifested into like a meal that you're eating
it's terrible. It's like in the earlier parts of my career, a lot of the food was soulless. It was pretty to look at, and there was like a lot of labor that went into it, but it didn't make me feel like, when I had those experiences, it didn't make me feel like wholly satisfied at all. Yeah,
I think COVID is bringing us back to that, and people just, I think, respecting that world a little bit more too. It's kind of like it's turned it upside down. Okay, I was like, stop. But it's kind of like, the world has been turned upside down in a sense, and so the back of the house is really getting the respect that it deserves, than it ever did before.
Right.
Cybille, where did you grow up? Are you from New York?
I am. I grew up in Hempstead, Long Island. So it's in Nassau County. It's about 25 minutes from the city, 30 minutes from the city.
Yeah.
It was an interesting place, because Long Island is super segregated. So Hempstead was like where all like the Black and brown folks were, and then kind of right next door are like the rich people with their mansions, and then here we are kind of creating a space for ourselves in this little suburb. So it was cool. It was different. It was great to be like, oh, I have a backyard. Oh, I could do this. I could do that. I could go bike ride, do all these things, and then I could jet to the city if I wanted to have fun. So
like not in the backyard.
Yeah.
Right.
But But you know, April, we're all talking about what we cook. April cooks too.
I know. Okay, y'all.
She
so
cooks too.
I come from, you know what's interesting? Okay, let me not say the wrong thing because I told y'all before I hit record, my mom has been watching these, so she's like,
Hi, Mom.
I'm
So both of my parents cook, but no shade, Mom. Dad, like, really, I don't know. I learned how to cook a lot from my dad. My mom definitely influenced me too, but you know, my dad, I don't know, like I would just like be shadowing him in the kitchen, and my dad learned how to cook from his dad, which I love. And I was really passionate, you know, growing up, like super passionate about it, you know, moved here, kind of kept it going for a little while. And then I just stopped. It's just so funny because June is like, where are all these cooking skills that like people from back in the day talk about? Because she has not really had much of my cooking because I just think, you know, being in this city, and it just goes back to that hustle that we're talking about, that robot kind of move. It's like, for me, it just, cooking wasn't fun anymore because I was exhausted, you know? So now it's, you know, interesting now that we're all pulling inward and we're just like not going out, which I do not miss going out, y'all. I'm fine with being just here and chill. You know, it's bringing me back to that sensibility of just like enjoying just the creation of making a meal.
You know, April has though shared one thing that I have never heard of before in my life. It's native to Virginia, Tidewater, Norfolk.
I was like, where are you going with this?
That whole area. But it, you know, we talk about, you know how we talk about in food, how there's all these influences and fusions of culture because of where we live. And sometimes, you know, folks have to live in certain places together. So she introduced me to yak.
Yes. Okay, wait.
I've never heard of that.
That's a perfect segue because my mom, she's going to live for that. Because actually yak comes from my mom's side of the family. So yak, have you guys heard of yak? Yakima?
Never.
So you should look it up. There's like a New Orleans connect too, because I don't know why, one day, maybe a couple of months ago, I just randomly thought about it. Mind you, I haven't had yak in ages for a couple of reasons. One, it's very, you know, local, hyper local to like Tidewater, Virginia, like Chesapeake where I grew up. But also I can't digest gluten anymore for like years. And, you know, yak is, there's no gluten-free yak, you know? So, but I was thinking about it and I was talking to June about it. And I was like, have you heard of that? And she's like, no. So then I Googled it and then I was like, oh man, like I found like this like one article about yak that really kind of broke it down. And yak, it really is just like a Tidewater thing. New Orleans has like a version of it, but they call it something else. And basically it's very, very simple. Basically, it's they're egg noodles, right?
Yeah, it's like the egg noodles.
Yeah, they're egg noodles. They're kind of like a lo mein, but kind of different. Maybe they're like a little thinner.
Yeah, they're like flatter.
They're flatter, yes.
They're not flat.
They're flatter.
They're flat, yeah.
And you just literally, you make the noodles and then you put in ketchup and soy sauce. And you can put scallions in it. And, you know, my mom and her family, they would always boil an egg. And some people put like chicken in it. We never did that. It was just so basic. Like it was literally the boiled egg, the ketchup, and soy sauce, which seems so like, huh? But when I tell you, like,
it's
so
umami.
It's umami.
Basically.
And so we had it not with real yak. We found like gluten-free, like rice lo mein noodles. And it made, but it, you know, it wasn't exactly the same, but it just brought me back to my childhood because it's just like, wow, who would have thought to like mix ketchup with soy sauce, you know? Like,
yeah.
That sounds great.
So in New Orleans, there's a dish called Yakima.
Yes,
they were on a food show. They were on some kind of food destination show. We were watching, and that's what kind of sparked her to go down this rabbit hole.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So there's that, and then in Philly there's Yak Gat Maine, which is
say it again.
Yeah, YATGAT Maine, like MEIN.
Yak
Gat Maine.
Yak Gat Maine.
Yeah. And so like all these things, I feel like it's like in the subtext of like Black American experiences where apparently, and so the story in New Orleans goes that Yakima was it was written up the first time in like 1910. And it came from like the blending of.
That's okay. Y'all have kids in the back. Listen.
Yeah, that's our
We are family.
Yes.
We are family.
It's family. Yeah, I'm not sweating. I was just like, man, he's like,
going off. He's going off.
He said, "Put me on."
Right.
I think he wants some yacht.
Yeah.
I know, right?
But yeah, like around 1910, it was like it appeared in a newspaper, and it came from like the blending of Chinese immigrants that were brought in to do rail work, and like the black folks that were already there. And so they call it Old Sober because in New Orleans it's like really brothy. And what they do is they eat, they serve it to hungover men.
Oh.
So they also call it Old Sober. But there's a version of this wherever black folks migrated.
Interesting.
There's also that. I'm sorry. What were you gonna say? There's also that blending of like Asian culture and African American culture. Because I'm from DC, and there's something we have called mumbo sauce.
Mumbo sauce.
Yeah. And so it's that. Yes, we should make a mumbo sauce. That's a mumbo sauce. And it's like it's that same kind of umami, that tomato base, that soy sauce. Like it's a little spicy, a little sweet, and you see it in pockets in African American communities where you know, and then you have this Asian presence, and you see that throughout, and it's not known to any other communities, even within those cities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like for me, mambo is very. You go to your carryout, you get that. You're not seeing it in all types of, you know, other eating establishments throughout DC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that in DC y'all call it the carryout.
You say the curry out, because it's not just, you're not going in just to get Chinese food. You're getting subs.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting a tuna sandwich. You're not going to get that, you know, in New York if you go to a Chinese carryout.
Right.
Yeah. Or steak and cheese. So get all those things to carry out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the role of the Chinese store is really interesting. Like, so in New York, the Chinese store is like strictly that. Like, you get Chinese food, boom, that's it. In Philly, the Chinese store sells toilet paper,
aspirin,
soap, toothpaste, aspirin, glue.
Really?
I'm dead ass. So,
Right.
so they're open to like 3 o'clock in the morning. And like how bodegas function in New York is how the Chinese store is in Philly. Because I think it's just the hours, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
DC doesn't give it up like that. It's like you get your food, you're not lingering around, and you're gonna go.
You're gonna go. Yeah, you out.
Oh no, people linger in the Chinese store. It's also a hub for illegal activity. So
that's in New York too, though. New York.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of all this food, y'all, I'm actually legit getting hungry. So I feel like we need to like show our grub.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes.
That's right.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna get our grub.
So while she's doing that, I know you guys cooked it up. These two amazing chefs. What y'all make?
Okay. Well,
first of all, let's not say y'all. It was mostly Cybille who cooked today.
Okay.
All I did was spark the idea of yams.
Yes. He said yams, and I was like, oh, this could work. So, I made some rice and beans.
Nice.
Some red kidney beans and rice, which is typically in a Haitian household what you're eating 7 days of the week. Pretty much, you're eating rice and beans.
I want to get that.
Yeah, you want to. And then I made pork, fried pork. It's called griot. So it's twice cooked pork with some sweet plantains and regular plantains there, which is like seasoned in sour orange and homemade green seasoning made with cilantro, garlic, onions. It's very, very flavorful, very
like
aromatic.
What is that green sauce? It's Dominican. Wait, is it
Oh,
Dominican?
sofrito.
Yes, sofrito. Yes.
Yeah, just like that. Yeah, our version of sofrito, we call it épice. And we pretty much use it as a seasoning base for everything.
Yeah.
And then this is the sweet potato. So yesterday I had made a succotash for dinner, and we had some left over. And when he said sweet potatoes, I was like, well, let's put it together.
I love
So yeah, sweet
You
potatoes.
got some pickles with that?
Some what?
Some pickles?
You already know.
Okay. Okay. I want to see. Okay.
Yeah, save the best for last.
Wow, y'all really, that's like a whole meal. I love it. It looks
Yeah. Yeah, Omar has been asking for griot for.
That's pretty much all I ever asked.
All the time, yes, fried pork, all the time. I can't eat it all the time, but when I do have it, I do enjoy it.
It is. So, would you like to share? Because I can't say that I partook in this.
She got the yams. So
I bought the ingredients.
When Omar said yams, we're like, okay, orange, bright yams. And we were like, okay, what can we do? So I got inspired. I found a recipe for sweet potato oatmeal. Like I like to eat oatmeal in the morning time. And I never thought to add sweet potato to it. And honestly, when you think about it, like some people will add peanut butter to oatmeal as, protein or fiber to, fill you up, because sometimes when I eat oatmeal, I get hungry within an hour. I'm like, did I eat? And so, when we were presented with this, April, went, for the yams, because we pretty much have oatmeal here all the time, like I said, but she brought these beautiful purple yams. And so
they're actually sweet potatoes. So me and Omar offline, we had a laugh because I went to Whole Foods, y'all. I'm not they're not giving coins to sponsor this, but anyway, I did go there because I live in Harlem, whatever. It was easy, and of course they didn't have yams, of course. So I was like, okay, well, what can I get? And then I saw the purple sweet potatoes. I was like, you know what? That's pretty. So yeah.
And we just mixed. So I mixed oatmeal with a little bit of milk, good old cow's milk. We like it. Butter and banana, because banana helps to naturally sweeten it too. You don't have to do a lot of sugar. We had a nice ripe banana. We took an easy route. We have pumpkin spice in here, so we threw that in there.
Hey,
yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
People hate on it. I love it. Yeah. We love it in this house.
We love it.
And we topped it with tart cherries and some almonds just to give it color and
crunch.
A little crunch, a little texture, texture difference. But this is so rich. Like, it's so rich and filling. Because I was like, oh, this is going to be a great breakfast. But we don't think about using certain savory things that could be savory or dessert for breakfast. And it's just so versatile. This tuber. Well, no, sweet potato, a yam is a tuber. A sweet potato is a root vegetable.
Okay.
I always get confused.
I was like, I don't know.
Like, all I know is this
is
good.
But it works though. Whatever it is, it definitely works.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
I mean, before we got online, we were talking about it, and I was like, I never even considered sweet potato in breakfast in that way, as like a compliment to oatmeal. And now I'm definitely going to try it. Yeah. So.
And or any other type of yam too. There's the boniata or the batata, which is it's a sweeter yam. That could work also. Cocoa yam, malanga could work also. Yeah.
Could you do maduros in oatmeal?
Absolutely. If you do bananas, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I pop a little shaved coconut.
No, but real, this sounds like an African inspired breakfast bar.
Yes.
Where you're like,
yeah.
Ooh, instead of continental, the continent.
Oh, wait a minute. You need to trademark that, girl. Make sure you trademark that.
After this is recorded. After this is recorded, because somebody get here and then just go right to the library and put in an application.
Well,
no, that's super brilliant.
It's almost that time to wrap it up. But before we leave, I always ask that we play a drinking game. And the drinking game, it's simple or not simple, I guess, depending, is who would you want to have drinks with, who is with us or no longer with us, or both? Sorry, sirens in the background. It's fine.
It's fine. It's far for the course.
You're in the hood, you don't know.
Right.
Harlem, man. I love it.
Yes.
I think. Ooh. All right. So when I first, like, literally one name sprung to mind, and I was kind of like, I don't know why my brain went in this direction. I'm a huge hip hop fan, and I love Wu-Tang. My favorite member of the Wu-Tang Clan is Ghostface Killer. I want to drink with Ghost. Yeah. I want to hear the stories.
Oh my gosh.
I want to hear him, like, I want to see him in the mink with the eagle. I want it all. I want the full.
Wow.
I want it all. Yes, that's who we're drinking. And we're drinking Jameson. We're not drinking like, no. Ghostface is classy. No, we're drinking like a nice white. A nice glass of white wine.
You think so?
Yeah.
Ghostface gonna want that brown.
He gonna want the brown.
Ghost is gonna want the brown. Come on.
That's really good. I almost feel like that goes in like the top 2. Like the top 2 of people, I'm like, wow, Ghost is a really good. I can't even imagine what those drinks would be like.
Right? He's just going to tell you all the stories and his delivery. That's what's most fascinating. It's just like his ability to create, his wordplay and his music is like phenomenal, but just listening to him in interviews, I'm just always captivated by him because I'm just like, man.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
He's awesome too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I have 2. Okay. I have two, but it's the same person. So I want to talk to John Coltrane when he was drinking and John Coltrane when he was sober.
Wow.
Because they're 2 very different people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not sober. but I appreciate his level of like discipline and like spiritual like path and seeking when he was sober. And before that, I kind of just want to like kick it with him and Miles when all those motherfuckers were sitting there just knocking back whiskey.
Yeah.
They were doing heroin. I'm not going to do that.
But,
thank you.
No heroin. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not going to say, I'm going to kick back and do some heroin. No, I'm not going to do that.
You said kick back. You're crazy. Okay.
The image.
Right?
Kicking back from heroin.
That's a lot like during the holidays.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I want to do.
That's 2 amazing choices. Do you have one, Juneberry? Or 2? Be on the spot.
See, I didn't get the memo.
I know I didn't give you advance warning. No, I'm sorry. Well, I have one. And
Okay.
I'll let you think.
Okay.
So, because we have all these beautiful chefs with us, I would want to have, and this is someone who's no longer with us, RIP, Chef Verda May. So y'all, okay, Of course y'all know who I'm talking about. So for people who don't know who Chef Verda May, who she was, she did all the food, I guess design. I don't know if you would call it design for film, like for Daughters of the Dust.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But she also, she was like a food historian, like a Southern.
She was Gullah.
Gullah.
She was Gullah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So her connections, I love this because my connections are the same. Her connections are Charleston, South Carolina, Gullah Geechee Nation, and Philadelphia. She spent like a significant portion of her life in both those places. And the entire time she kept it mad real. Yeah.
Her name
and she's very
Verda May, that's a real name, so you gotta be real.
It's a beautiful name.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It's a beautiful name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's an excellent choice.
Well, since we're talking about lady culinary greats, I would say Leah Chase.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually had like one of my first cookbooks. My mom received like this, like Cook for Your Health, like soul food re-envision, like Cook for Your Health. And one of her recipes, so this actually what we're eating kind of reminds me of that. She contributed to this book of Southern recipes, and there was a sweet potato pie kind of re-envisioned, and she put bananas. It was like sweet potato pie with bananas to cut down the sugar, and she put raisins on top to give it a little bit of textural difference, But that sweet potato pie was so airy, and I used to make that. Once I got that recipe, I was making that from like age 15.
Wow.
Like I think my sister has the recipe book now because she signed it.
Ooh.
And my mother gave it to me. But I will always make it and put it in a deep dish pie crust pan. Because it was kind of like mousse. Because the bananas in it made it very, very airy.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds delicious.
Are you making that? You making that sometime soon?
I can't with the purple sweet potato.
Yes.
Make two.
Also, like, want to acknowledge the fact that, like, we're food people and we chose music people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And y'all chose food people, which is interesting. Like, I always find that like people of different disciplines are more interested in people outside of their discipline.
Yes, definitely. No, I'm so fascinated by the food world. Again, especially, being with June and just kind of living through vicariously through her. It's been it's artistry. It really is.
Yeah, we know you're eating good over there.
Listen, it's been a struggle. I'm like, no pandemic. What do we say? COVID-15?
No COVID-15.
Like freshman 15, like no COVID.
Yeah. Not in this camp.
Rebuke. So I'm eating and I'm like running in place while I'm eating, basically.
Burn those calories.
I'm running in place. That's a great visual.
Right. Let's go.
That's how you do it.
That's awesome.
Well, listen, I love you both. Cybille, it's so nice to meet you. One day we'll meet in person, but you guys, I can feel your energy emanating from the screen. Omar, you seem so happy and just
congratulations again.
Yes, as she's like, you should be happy. Exactly.
The question is, when is the next member arriving?
June 9th.
Oh, okay. You got some time.
Gemini. Yeah, we're not that excited about that, but
no. You're worried.
I'm worried.
She's worried. I'm like Kendrick Lamar's a Gemini.
Man, the Geminis I've met are just man. But then it's also like the rising and the moon sign. So we're
okay.
Yeah.
I'm also a Gemini moon, so I'm chilling.
Ooh, that's a lot of. Okay, so I'm a Gemini. I'm June 8th.
Oh.
But my rising is Leo and my moon is Virgo. So there's a lot of balance.
Oh yeah, especially with that Virgo. Yeah, Virgo Leo. Wow. Yeah.
So get ready for that pop in Gemini that you're about to
Listen, it could be Gemini. It could be that weird new one that they came up with like 2 years ago. Do you remember the name of it? They tried to say there was another one after Sagittarius. I forget the name of it. My cousin knows it. It's a weird one. It could be whatever as long as the baby is happy and healthy.
Yes.
Exactly.
No, you know what I hear in my head? Is it Gemini?
No.
That's you.
No,
hate her.
Stop that, man. Scoop. Can we play her later?
Oh my God.
Do it.
Oh, single ladies, put your hands up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, we are cheersing. Happy holidays, y'all. Many blessings to a prosperous 2021.
Yes.
Ditto.
Cheers.
Blessings. Many blessings.